translating over 20,000 words. And the best PR of the month was PR 3.
Okay. Has anyone else lost a meal? Is it just me?
Yeah, I lost him as well.
Okay. Uh,
Was Zolkis with over 11,000 words translated uh, on the crowd in, and they scored 50 USDC for their contribution. And it's just a friendly reminder to you that uh, we still have 7 days in the month of January for all the documentation improvements that you can make, because our documentation contest is ongoing. And for each month, there is 250 USDC on the table. And Subnomicon is also eligible for this contest. And as I mentioned before, there is a separate pool, rewards pool of 50 USDC for the top translation contribution. And there is another contest going at the same time. It's called contribution contest. And for this contest, there is three eligible repos, which are Pulsar, Monorepo, and SpaceAcres. Unfortunately, we have not yet seen contributions to these three repos, but we understand why, because it's pretty complicated to actually make meaningful improvement over there. But if you do make a contribution and your PR is merged, you are eligible to win over up to 1,000 USDC a month. We totally understand that making contributions to these resources is not an easy task, but we believe that the reward is worth the effort. And another note, making a contribution to these three repos is the best way to stand out and potentially even score a job at Subspace Network. Yeah, there is a link for each of these repos. There is a list of issues that you can work on, and we would really appreciate to see contributions to Space Acres, our desktop farmer application. We'll just drop the link to the Space Acres issues here in the chat. Yeah, I'm looking forward to your contributions.
Thanks, Emil.
Jim? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we lost you just as you were announcing the winners. So just to reiterate there, the best PR of the month was PR 383. I think you said three and then you cut out, which covers everything from partitioning schemes to file system creation and mounting options. And it was written by Mathematic W, who I'm not sure if they're in the crowd today. I can't see William. No. Oh, yes. Yeah, there you are. Yes. Okay, I see you. Well done, William, and we thank you for your continuing contributions. And I think you came back just as you were saying Zorkis. So I know Zorkis is in the crowd, and I see you, Zorkis. I see you asking questions about development on Substrate and Nova. So we're really, really pleased to see that. If there is anything we can do to help you with your endeavors, please do reach out in the developer chat. Myself and Emil, we're super keen to help where we can. And as Emil was talking, I dropped the docs contest link first, and then the contribution contest. $1,000, up to $1,000 each month is in the reward pool, guys. You can walk away with 500 USDC for the best merged PR in our contribution contest. And okay, I think everyone else can hear me. Okay, good. Thanks, Silkis. And as promised, we also have, we're going to talk about Space Acres in a sec. I'm going to talk about Space Acres actually, so this is the perfect segue. Yeah, Butter but clear. It's a common thing with Discord. It might be worth restarting. Obviously, you can't hear me say that, but try restarting your Discord if anyone else has that issue. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Emil. Jumped the gun there, haven't I? Let me delete that. Okay, so while we're talking about space seekers, so as it says in the little thumbnail there. Thanks, Punky. What as it says in the thumbnail there, Space Acres is an opinionated and unofficial GUI application. So it's not officially supported. It's something that Azar started in his spare time. He is super keen to see contributions. And as part of the ongoing development, which he does in his spare time, believe it or not, I'm running it right now actually on this PC. It's interesting that everyone can hear me okay. But I do want to make sure that everyone's aware that we've launched the Space Acres survey. So in the interest of understanding what's important to our community and how we can try and drive adoption, we've created a survey, and we're interested to hear from users, and I must point out non-users. We're really keen to hear what might be preventing you from trying Space Acres. We know that there are reasons like it's not as configurable as advanced CLI, for example. But if there's something there that maybe we've got a blind spot on, we'd really love to hear that. It gives us pointers as to what and an insight into what we can improve there, and what puts you off using it. And if you do use it, help us improve it and even shape it as we home in on what features are important to our farmer community. So yeah, Space Acre survey. I know that we've had quite a few responses already, but we're super keen to hear from everyone on that. Okay, parking spaces for a moment, and really segueing into something that's not strictly developer related, but I would imagine there are a number in the crowd who are interested in hearing. Obviously, we announced the mini space race and how the transition from Gemini 3G to 3H is going to be structured recently. And we also explained that we have to have a period of stability on our internal devnet before we can announce a firm date. So I want to give you another update. I kind of put an update into Discord last week just to give everyone clarity on what was going on. But the very latest news, and this is right up to the minute, is that we do have a devnet up at the moment. It's been up for a while now, and it is looking good so far. So we did have a misstep. It did have to be reset, but the reset appears to be working. Now, actually, what we're doing is a dress rehearsal of the dress rehearsal right now. So we are seeding data into the devnet. So things are looking good. I know that Jeremy suggested on the DevSync call, which I encourage everyone to watch. Actually, it's generally only sort of 15-20 minutes. It's in the social feeds channel here in Discord, but you give you an insight into what all of the great developers, the core contributors, are up to on the project. Yeah, so Jeremy suggested a date of the 31st, which is a week today, obviously. So that would be if we hit no problems on DevNet. We believe that even with the reset we had to perform, which actually got turned around really quickly, we are hoping that it will not impact our plan to launch next Wednesday. So that will be the launchpad stage in the mini space race, which I will just link here. Seems like we've got a lot. Oh, Galaxy. Okay, Punky. No Galaxy code here, I'm afraid. But at least you're attending in case there is, rather than begging for it later on. Okay, and yeah, so the forum post has the full details, but anyone who's not familiar, you need to understand that 3G will remain incentivized even after next Wednesday. And if you read the mini space race post there, you'll understand that we're actually going to stop incentives altogether while we run the mini space race, and then they'll come back on 3H. So yeah, the latest update is that we are still looking good for next Wednesday, and DevNet's looking good. You can see it in telemetry actually. if you're interested. So hopefully that's some good news for everyone. Um, okay, and to switch back to some more developer focused news, Emil, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Yeah, I would like to take a minute to talk about the how the switch to Gemini 3H is going to affect the EVM domain. And if you utilize the EVM domain for your development purposes, your smart contracts will no longer work once we fully switch to Gemini 3H, as the EVM chain rely on consensus chain for data availability and security. The start of Gemini 3H, as Jim just mentioned, is tentatively planned for the end of the January, and will be running both networks for some time. So you still have at least few weeks to utilize the current EVM domain before needing to redeploy your smart contracts on Nova, built on Gemini 3H. Sorry about the inconvenience, but that's the only way to go, and that's the only way we can reach the mainnet. Yeah, thank you for your understanding. Jim, would you like to talk about the Nova application deployments?
Absolutely. Yeah, and so I guess really we should point out that really the 3G Nova domain will only go down once kind of we don't have enough farmers for consensus or we don't have any operators running on there. So those of you familiar with the telemetry site can see that we've still got a number of farmers on earlier iterations of the network. So chances are it will run a bit longer. And yeah, we're sympathetic to, to your the fact that if you've deployed contracts on 3G Nova, you will have to redeploy them on 3H. But obviously, we'll be upgrading the force and everything else to support 3H. And actually, 3H will be a place where we are going to be starting to um, deploying some tools. What we want to do is if 3G was treated as a place where we've shaken everything down and made sure that operators are stable, staking works, and the fact that we've got like security around our decoupled execution environments, 3H is where we start to demonstrate the utility there. So I can share plans that we would like to see developers testing on our next Nova iteration. And particularly, we are looking for deployments of things like multi-sig wallets. So we're interested in Gnosis Safe, for example, is the kind of de facto, the go-to. A DEX, if you're feeling really ambitious, you could deploy a DEX on Nova. So think like Sushi Swap. Bridges, obviously something that we're going to be thinking about, mainnet and beyond is going to be similar to layer 0. So we can bridge our tokens and access liquidity on other networks, for example. And finally, actually, no, I'm interested, what would you guys like to see? Is there a killer DApp or a use case that you'd like to see us try and chase down? Obviously, we'll be working on the team side, reaching out to other ecosystems to build strategic partnerships. But yeah, we're keen to understand, what would you really like to see? What do you feel like a grown-up Nova? Now it's past the toddler stage. It's out of nappies. It's going to start running around the room. We need to demonstrate that we can handle something a bit more complicated. Tangent cold wallet. Okay, we should take a note of that and check into that. Yeah, if anyone's got any suggestions, please do pop them in the chat here. In a similar vein, we plan currently to partner with Alchemy to provide subgraph support. So if you have an idea for an app that maybe you want to release on day one of mainnet, then let me know or let Emil know. Let anyone in the team know, and you'll get routed to the right person. So obviously, subgraphs are required for or an indexing solution of some description is required for you to write performant apps that sit on top of the blockchain data. So yeah, Alchemy are going to be providing some staff support for us. Um, and yeah, if this is something that you think you can help us out with, please reach out, as we may be able to come sort of some sort of incentivization um, agreement. So yeah, it would be on a case by case basis, but we're just keen to start seeing people active on Nova, and hopefully we'll be leading that charge on our side. Um, okay, Translife, when tokenomics. I'm afraid I don't have any news on when tokenomics. I know that that is a question on everyone's lips. I don't have anything more than what's been shared previously, I'm afraid. Um, okay, and yeah, and just to reiterate, we love questions, so feel free to pop them in the chat as I hand back to Emil, who's going to fill us in on some other changes that we can expect to see in 3H.
Absolutely. As we mentioned on the developer update this Monday, and by the way, if you haven't seen it, all the recordings of the developer things are always available on our YouTube channel. There are some important CLI flags changes coming to Gemini 3H. And previously, some flags were inherited from Substrate, and they either didn't make a lot of sense for Subspace users, or they weren't supported in general. Nazar took some time to drop all the unsupported flags and renamed and merged some of the previously used flags to make them more meaningful for the Subspace users. We will release a forum post covering all the important updates, and our documentation will reflect all changes by the time we switch to Gemini 3H, but we still want to give you the highlight of what changes you can expect. First of all, in order to start a subspace node, you will need to explicitly use run flag. For example, as a command I can give you, it's a subspace node, run dash dash base dash dash chain, etc. So now you need to explicitly specify run for your in order to start your subspace node. Setting base path becomes mandatory, and also setting chain becomes mandatory. So there is no longer any ambiguity in changing the in setting the chain anymore, as both of these values become mandatory. The flag dash dash validator is replaced with dash dash farmer. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that a lot of farmers will be excited about this news, because for the yeah, it makes much more sense to be a farmer on the subspace network rather than a validator. There is now a more meaningful setting of the RPC port, and the awkward combination of the commands such as dash dash RPC external, dash dash unsafe RPC external, and dash dash RPC port are now replaced by a single meaningful command, dash dash RPC listen on. And there is a newly available wipe command. So as you know, previously, in order to wipe the plot, you used subspace farmer wipe command, and the node was using purge chain, and you need to specify the chain in order to purge all the information that subspace node has collected. Now it's all left behind, and both node and farmer use a simple wipe command. And the way you use it, you just specify node wipe, and you supply your path to node, and farmer wipe, and you pass your path to farm. As simple as that. Now wiping will become much easier. On the operator side, setting base path is no longer supported, as everything is being derived from the consensus's base path and domain ID. And you no longer have to care about the key store location. The node handles everything for you. And the previously used boot nodes flag is replaced with the updated dash dash bootstrap nodes flag. And of course, with the Gemini 3G, there is another big change coming, and Nazar was especially happy about this one. And as the node is fully supporting NUMA, and NUMA support will benefit farmers with large, powerful CPUs and lots of RAM. And on Linux and Windows, the farmer will automatically detect NUMA systems and create a number of thread pools that corresponds to a number of NUMA nodes. And to use NUMA, you need to enable it via BIOS on your motherboard. Yeah, as I mentioned before, everything will be covered in the forum post, but we just wanted to give you a highlight that the commands that you used during Gemini 3G won't work out of the box. There's going to be a few adjustments that you will need to make. But as I just walk you through, I believe that the new updated commands, they are much more meaningful and actually makes more sense for you. So pretty sure that it will take you next to no time to get used to these commands and forget about the older ones.
Thanks for that rundown, Emil. I think Numa support is available now. I'm not sure if these are enhancements. I know that we've got guys, I think even in the call, who are using Numa to get frankly amazing sector plotting times. Concurrent plotting to get like down to close to 1 minute, I believe, which is just amazing. But I just want to reiterate that all of these options here, Emil's written a really great post, which we'll put on the forum. So you've got visibility of the kind of things that are changing now. But yeah, don't panic too much. There will be a nice guide that Emil's written, which is nice and accessible, and it lays everything out for you. And I guess I wanted to something that occurred to me actually was where you were mentioning about the for operators. So base path is no longer supported because it's no longer supported on the operator side of the dash dash argument. I assume because we have like two sets of arguments. We have the consensus side and then we have the operator side. And I think what we're saying there is that base path can still be set for your node, but the operator derives its base path from your consensus side parameter.
Yes, yeah, exactly, Jim.
Okay. Sorry, Emil, I stopped you there mid-flow.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fine. I guess the only piece what I wanted to say is that, as we mentioned last week, um, we are building the new version of Astral. It's in super active development, and I see PRs coming, multiple PRs being merged every day. And the staking interface is now becoming a part of Astral. So Astral is truly becoming one place experience for everything related to the consensus chain, EVM chain, um, now Nova and running operators and being an operator and a nominator. And we would really appreciate if you can go and test the Austral, test all the staking functionality, maybe try registering and deregistering an operator, and leave us your feedback. We're open to your suggestions, and they will be actually implemented. So we're really looking forward to seeing the feedback on the Astral, on our block explorer. And please feel free to leave your feedback in the operators and nominators channel. We are following it, and we'll be working on your suggestions. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Emil. Essentially, those of us who participated in Stake Wars, you'll be aware, of course, that we had the staking interface and functionality from the staking interface is being shifted into Astral to provide this kind of one-stop, consistent experience for farmers, operators, basically actors on our network. So yeah, we're super keen to hear feedback once we've got that ready. Okay, I can see we've got some questions, but what we do is we do have Q&A in just a moment. There's one final thing I wanted to talk about quickly, which is that there's a few Subspace team members are planning to attend East Denver. We won't be hosting a booth, but we will be there checking things out and networking. So if any members of our community want to meet up in person, we'd be very happy to talk to you. So let's organise in Discord or email, however you want to reach out. Reach out to anyone on the team, and if you let them know that you're trying to get hold of me, then we can organise from there. The event runs from the 23rd of February to March the 7th, which includes the main event sandwiched between Biddle Week and the Mountain Retreat. But we plan to be there for the main event, which will run from Thursday, February the 29th to Sunday, March the 3rd. Though our exact plans are a little fluid at the moment, but yeah, please do reach out if you would like to meet the team in real life. And I think that's all the updates from our side. Okay, I can see we've got some questions and some answers. Okay, so let's see if I can pick off an easy one. Fatman13. As far as I know, there is a fairly large miner community in Asia. Will Chinese New Year be part of the consideration with respect to mainnet launch date? So I've mentioned this a few times. Mainnet launch date is purely a function of the readiness of the software. Launching a decentralized protocol is a very difficult thing, and there's a bunch of considerations. But the overriding factor is, we want to release the protocol as soon as possible, as soon as it's ready, as soon as it's feature complete, as soon as it's stable. Which is why we're running the testnet, and obviously why we're running an incentivized testnet, so that we can test how things behave at scale. We are approaching the end of that journey. So I would say that I don't think Chinese New Year would be part of the consideration. Um, but anything is possible. I will bear that in mind. And yeah, if we possibly can, then yeah, we'll try and satisfy that requirement. Thank you, Fat Man. Okay, I'm not sure how I'd start to say your name, I'm afraid, but you ask, does the new version have any optimization for dual channel epic? Is the CPU usage issue resolved? Um, okay, so I think when you say, so I believe that is dual channel different to Numa, so I'm not a great expert here. I believe it's to do with how the memory is shared and how the CPU architecture is structured, like physically on the chip. So I'm afraid I don't have an answer. I don't know if anyone else does. I'm not sure if we do have optimizations for dual channel epics, and I'm not sure which CPU usage issue you're referring to. Maybe if you've got like a forum post or a Discord thread, we could take a look at. There's actually a question that we should probably take away to Nazar. Nazar would know, I think, unless anyone else on the stage knows.
No, I was wondering whether the Numa support would be beneficial in this case, but yeah, I don't have an answer. That would be better to ask Nazar about it.
Yeah, I can take that away. Thanks for the
Sure.
question.
And I can take the next one by Zalkus. Are there any Nova dApps ready for testing? I didn't see any testing requests except for my humble NFT smart contracts, of course. Yeah, so in the documentation, we'll cover a few examples of deployments of the smart contracts on Nova, but I believe the only like fully working example of the dApp fully running on Nova is our faucet, because that's the web application which utilize the smart contracts on the Nova. So that's maybe the example that you can use. And the code for the Southspace faucet is open source as well. So if you're curious to see how the web interface actually interacts with Noah, how the interaction with smart contracts is happening, and how do we handle all the requests, everything is available in our repo. So I bet that would be one of the best resources to try to learn from, and then kind of adjust to your dApp. The next question is from Capybara. Error withdrawal failed when I try and stake max TSCC from operator. Yeah, as far as I can see, that's the staking interface, not the Astro. I believe that we fixed the issue with the max button, which previously did not wasn't working, but then some people reported that the max button started working for them for all of the requests. But maybe something happened. Maybe there is a bug for some specific, maybe large number of tokens. So please open an issue on the GitHub, or you can just follow this error to the operators and nominators channel, and we'll have a look at it. But as we mentioned, the staking interface itself is no longer a priority as it's being migrated to the Astro. So hopefully this issue is resolved in the Astro.
I can
Yeah.
take one. Litend is off very shortly. I see they're still in the crowd for now. Just wanted to ask a general question. What was/is the plan length of 3H in terms of weeks? So really, it's again, it's a function of when the team have confidence in the software that we're ready to end mainnet. End testnet. Obviously, we've made a commitment, which is that 0.1% of token supply goes into the reward pot for testnet. So we're not entirely sure, Litend, but stay tuned and find out. But it is a function of the network being stable and ready. Okay, Fat Man again. By your estimation, would gas reward be enough to sustain an operator's OPEX on mainnet? Okay, so great question. So I wouldn't get too caught up on the kind of tiny fees that were. So I think that we've kind of, because the transaction fees earned in Stake Wars were very small. Remember, the rewards that we're giving away are all relative. So although the values may be, to 18 decimals, remember that the rewards are all proportional. So yes, obviously we have to have an incentive compatibility there. If it doesn't make sense, people won't run operators. So yes, there's a lot of great work going on between the team and Block Science on the precise tokenomics, and there are exciting things such as hyperbolic tangential subsidy graphs being sorted out, so being discussed and finalized to make sure that every network participant is incentivized to work on the network when it goes live. So yes, is my answer. By my estimation, yes, it would be enough. Or actually, I would say, would reward be enough? Because, as I say, there is this concept of a subsidy, which needs to be. I think it's hinted at in the Subnomicon, but there are some PRs actually. If you want to take a look at the work that Dari is doing there, to update exactly how that's going to work. But again, the situation is slightly fluid as we finalise the tokenomics. Great question. Thank you, Napa. Get love link in there for CPU issue. Okay, so I'm going to take a guess. Is Nazar active on this one? Okay, so if Nazar doesn't have an answer in there, I'm afraid there isn't an answer yet, just to give you a definitive answer. I can see Fat Man's got another question. And any potential bug bounty program in the future? Absolutely. We see that as being part of a competent framework. So yeah, we are planning to partner with someone very big in the industry. Yeah, I don't know if I should say their name, but if you think of the biggest guys, it's probably them. So yes, it's definitely on our roadmap. Is something we're in discussions about. Okay. And yeah, Zulkis, I think you could be the man. You could be the guy, the first um, to submit some community apps. Okay, I think we've exhausted the questions, guys. This isn't the end of the conversation. Of course, as always, we're all available in Discord. There is a specific developers chat channel. You do have to connect your GitHub, because once you've done that, you've then got access to the faucet. We want to have a place for developers to chat without the general kind of humdrum and hoopla of the wider Discord community. We want somewhere where it's focused, somewhere where the kind of the relevant questions and answers don't get drowned out with the conversation. So feel free to ask us there. But really, Emil and I and Justin and Ryan and Fredik, any of us that are regulars in Discord, please do reach out if you have any questions or comments or about the kind of the development experience or the developers experience around Subspace. I think have I missed any questions, Emil, or have we
Yeah, I think you answered them all. Yeah, I think that's everything that we have for today. Yeah, as you mentioned, thanks everyone for attending, and we'll be seeing you in about a month for the next edition of the Developers Office Hours, and we can chat with you asynchronously on the Discord pretty much every day. So yeah, looking forward to seeing your feedback, your contributions to all the ongoing contests. And Zolkas, if you end up deploying a DApp, we'll be absolutely stoked to give it a try. And of course, we will share the news everywhere with our community. So we're really, really looking forward to it. Yeah, thanks everyone for attending, and have a good one.
thanks everyone.